Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well. Today I'll be setting up my September planner pages. I'll be using these stickers from Hubman and Chubgirl to create a bookshelf theme, and I'll be using various writing tools in coordinating colors. Turning to the first full week of September, I'm going to be using two colors of Derwent Inktense watercolor pencils. This one is number 1740. The color is saddle brown. I'm using it to draw the outline of a big bookshelf in the center of the spread. The bookshelf will hold 8 boxes, one for each day of the week and one for notes. The top, bottom, and sides of the bookshelf are 1 dot grid space wide, and the shelves inside are a single line. I want the top, bottom, and sides of the bookshelf to appear more substantial than the inside, so I'm coloring them in completely. I'm using the same watercolor pencil to lightly shade the inside of the bookshelf, also creating a little bit of a shadow. I chose to use watercolor pencils because I didn't want the streakiness of markers, and regular color pencils are a bit too waxy, and I wouldn't be able to write in the planner boxes. I decided to use the Tombow dual brush pen blender N00 to activate the watercolor pencil. This is a regular Archer and Olive dot grid notebook, so it is not watercolor paper. So if I were to use a paintbrush and water, the paper would buckle. But I discovered the Tombow blender marker works well and doesn't buckle the paper. I generally use the same layout for all of the weekly spreads for each month, so I will only show the setup of the bookshelf once in this video. I purposely leave a lot of space blank on my weekly spreads. That is my flex space. I usually use that space for journaling and memory keeping, but I could use it for habit trackers or whatever I need that week. If I don't have a lot going on a particular week, I could just add more decoration. By the end of the month, all of these pages will be completely full. Now I'm using the number 840 navy blue watercolor pencil to create a floor under the bookshelf. And again, I will use the Tombow dual brush pen blender to activate the watercolor pencil. Then I'm outlining the top, bottom, sides, and shelves with a brown Papermate flare. And I'm using a dusty blue Papermate flare to draw the line on the floor. The first 6 days of September will be on the same spread as the last day of August, because I like to have all 7 days of a week on one spread. The last weekly spread will eventually include the first 4 days of October. For the monthly header, I thought it would be cute to create a cross-stitched wall hanging. I decided it would be easier to draw a large version. Then I took a picture and shrunk it down and printed them out on sticker paper. Then I used a craft knife to cut them out. After placing the header sticker, I used a silver gel pen and a 0.3 Pigma micron to draw in a nail and picture hanging wire. Now I can place the number stickers in the daily boxes. These are shaped like open books to go with the theme. Then I add a few books and accessories on and around the bookshelf. All of these stickers are from Hubman and Chubgirl. Most of them are from the Cozy Bookworm collection, and some are from the Cozy Cat collection. I will repeat this process for each of the weekly spreads. Having the end of one month on the same spread as the start of the next month means I usually don't have space for a monthly title page. I also like to fit a whole year in one notebook, so I don't have many pages to spare. I also don't create a monthly calendar because I don't use one. I accidentally placed a date number in the notes box on this spread, but I won't make you watch me peel and restick 2 weeks worth of date stickers. After fixing my mistake, I can go through with a 0.5 Pigma micron to write in the first letter of each day, and I decided to leave the notes boxes blank. Now that the weekly spreads are done, I will flip to the front of the journal where I have set aside pages for my health tracker spreads. I use 2 2-page spreads for each monthly health tracker. I'm trimming off the edge of the center page with a craft knife to create a Dutch door, protecting the pages underneath with a cutting mat, and rounding the corners with a corner punch. I'm turning the notebook sideways so I can add the header along the right margin. For the header, I cut the frame off of one of the stickers I made earlier and wrote the rest of the header with the dusty blue Papermate Flare. Here you can also see the tabs I created when I originally set up this notebook for the health trackers for the whole year. I like to have all of my health tracker spreads together for easy reference. I don't really decorate my health tracker spreads, but I still like to have them coordinate color-wise with the theme of the month. Then I'll use the dusty blue Papermate Flare to write the numbers and first letter of each day on the left side. The Dutch door allows the header and the days of the month to be visible from any part of the spread. I'm drawing a line between the days and the space I'll be using to enter the date I'll be tracking with a brown Papermate Flare. I'm using the same pen along the top to create the brackets where I will list the things I want to track. Things like sleep quality, what time I took my meds, pain level. Each column is 2 dot grid spaces wide except the last one, which is 3 dot grid spaces wide, where I track the low and high temperature for each day. The top end of each bracket is angled 2 dots to the right of the base to give me a little more space to write on the line. I'm using the sage green Papermate Flare to draw a line between Saturday and Sunday to create a visual separation between the weeks. If you're interested in more information about how I use my health tracker spreads, I have a video I will link in the description. Flipping over to the next spread, I'm using the brown Papermate Flare to create a column on the left to log exercise and activity. The next column is where I list my AM, evening, and late night meds, and the whole right page is for notes. I used the green Papermate Flare to separate the weeks in the exercise activity column, and I'm writing the titles for each section with the 0.5 Pigma micron. Flipping back to the first page of this tracker, I will fill in the first few headers so you can get an idea of how it will look. I will fill the rest of the headers in at the beginning of September because I will sometimes adjust the things I want to track from month to month. With that done, we are ready for the final flip through. Starting with the first weekly spread, which includes the last day of August. Then the next 3 full weekly spreads of September, each with its own bookshelf. Then this last spread, which includes the last 3 days of September and will eventually include the first 4 days of October. And my September health tracker all set up and ready to get filled out. Every day I will fill in the data for each column. The notes section is where I can write anything that doesn't fit anywhere else. If you made it this far, I appreciate you watching my video, and that is all I have for you. I will see you next time. Bye.